Hi there everybody, welcome back to the channel. Real quick, we're going to try and breeze through this because I don't have a lot of space on my laptop here, and we are shooting in NRAW 4.1K 30p. Now we're just going to show you the flat profile from NRAW, and we're going to show it with the Nikon LUT on it, and then we're just going to try some Kodak Gold 100 on there, just to show you what it looks like on a graded piece of raw footage. And we'll just use this for the remainder of the video when you see my face. So we're gonna get right into this Dehancer Pro OFX tutorial and review. Now, first thing off, as you can see, is Dehancer Pro OFX is pretty expensive. It's $400 US, and it is for Premiere, Final Cut, and Davinci Resolve, obviously. Now it has a whole bunch of different film emulations and a million different combinations to tweak it as you feel. And just out of the gate, I'll be honest, they are going to give me a copy of this for myself to use, but I will keep this review as honest and truthful as I can, and they're not going to, you know, give me 20 bucks on the side and say, hey, keep it like not honest. And I really appreciate Dehancer giving me this opportunity to take a look at their software and do a review on it. And if any other company sees this that has something they wish for me to review, hardware, software, or anything like that, shoot me an email and we'll see what we can do. And one of the other cons that I have on this, besides the price, is well, I don't think it was the plugin's problem itself, but I was having some issues with exporting. I've never tried this on some other projects where maybe the titles didn't play well with maybe the emulation. I'm not entirely sure, but on my MacBook Air, it's an M1. It's the 7/8 with 16 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte hard drive. It would kept saying Fusion not compatible or something like that. It gave me some weird error. So I switched out the title with a different type of title, and it went fine. So at the end of this video, there'll be a little segment with a bunch of different types of emulations put on different types of video, like from a GoPro, from the Nikon Z9, or anything like that, with different genres: wildlife, aviation, racing, motorcycles, stuff like that. So some of the titles you see pop up might look a little different because I was kind of fighting with Resolve, and I think it won, and I guess I was just lazy maybe. Okay, so let's jump right in to showing you how to get this thing installed and activated and using it. So the first thing you gotta do is go to their website, dehancer.com, and click on the video tab. Then click download, select whatever application you want it to be a plugin for: Final Cut, Premiere, or Davinci Resolve. And then make sure you pick the newest version for this, and also pick the Pro OFX plugin, because that is what the tutorial and review is on. So once you download it, it's about 150 megs. Open the file and run it on your program. And this is on Mac, so Windows it'll look a little different, but click open on a Mac because it doesn't recognize it as its own software. Follow the wizard through like you normally would for any other installation. And when it's finished, just click done, and we'll get to the next part here. And after it's installed, you want to open your Davinci Resolve, a copy. Once you have Resolve open and running, just make sure you pick whatever you want to work on or create a new project. And once you're in there, make sure you select the file you want and go to the color tab. And then make sure your nodes are on. Very important. So make sure the nodes are on and showing. And then you have to scroll all the way to the bottom of your library and drag and drop it, Dehancer Pro next to the original node. Then you have to scroll all the way down in that node, and you'll be able to hit the license info, and that's where you type in your registration email and password. And as a side note, real quick, if you want to do a trial on this, you can do that as well. Check it out and see if it's worth your time. So once you type in your registration email and password, click the login button. Give it a few seconds and it will recognize your name. And then all you have to do after that is select one of the two seats and the keys. Select the key you want, 1 or 2, and then click Activate Plugin. And then it'll show the top left of the window activated. And then to make sure all of your film emulations are loaded, underneath the license info, click Profiles, and then that will bring up the window that will load in all of the missing profiles or updated. So really that's all it is to install it. Super simple and easy, pretty quick. It's not as difficult as plugins used to be 10 years ago. So even if you're not a major computer wizard, it's pretty straightforward. And just if you have any questions of how to use Dehancer OFX, if you go on their website, they have a really nice setup of different PDFs you can read through. And this is just one that I brought up real quick. It's just real basic. It tells you need to use the plugin at the end of your nodes if you're using it that way. This way, all of your color corrections and temperature and weight balance is done beforehand, and this is like the last thing you apply when you're done. Okay, so we'll just jump into the first example. This example is just 10-bit regular 265 422 footage off the Z9, and this is pretty much straight out of the camera, and we'll just play through it once so you can see what it looks like. And really it's just me messing with my phone in front of the camera, taking a little personal picture of the creek. Nothing too special. It was right as the sun was rising. This was probably 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so we've seen that. Now we want to go into our color options here. And then we have our nodes here on the right. You want to add a new node. Just make a corrector node, drop it in there. Then on this first node, or if you want to do it on this node, the first node or the second node, whatever you want to do, your personal preference. I like this to do like one node, call it good. I really don't like going overboard with nodes. It's just time consuming. So for this, we will adjust the temperature, give it a little bit of color boost, nothing too crazy. Brighten up the shadows. Maybe a little bit of highlights improvement. So, nothing too crazy. And then you want it to go to your effects tab. And then you'll have to scroll all the way to the bottom if all of these are not closed. Okay, so you have your Dehancer film emulation down here at the bottom of the library. Just drag and drop it right in there. And then this second little pane inside the Dehancer Pro, you can just select your different types of emulation that you would like. It's super straightforward, nothing too crazy. Personally, I like the emulations that are very like tan or a little bit of yellow to them. Usually I end up going towards the Cinestill or the Kodak Vision. So we'll just settle for the Cinestill 800. Now if you want to look on here and see a before and after real quick, all you gotta do is hit this red button. Turns it on and off. Now with it off, you can see the video clip plays through at a solid 29.97 here. Now if we turn on Dehancer, it pretty much crawls at 5 or 6 frames per second. That's just something you have to keep in mind. Now this is an Apple M1, it's a laptop. It's not some Threadripper with a 3090 in it, something crazy like that. I did test how fast my M1 exports this. So I did 2 clips. I did a 10 seconds each, and I did a clip of the Z9 4K 422 265 video. And then I also just used a generic clip from my GoPro Hero 7 Black 4K and 30. Now, I'll be honest, they pretty much exported in the same amount of time. So, as you can see in the examples, it's nothing crazy difference. So, it has more to do with the emulation that they put in here and not really the file type. And plus, you know, you're limited by whatever kind of hardware your computer has. So, there, yep. First example, how we threw that on there. But, you know, just keep in mind it will make your computer crawl, especially with all the added noise. Put in your video clip there. So, let's move on to the next example. This is just me yakking in front of the camera doing some talking head for the waterfall tutorial that I did. If you want to check that out, just click up there when you're done with this video, or right now if you'd prefer, if you've seen enough here, and learn to do some waterfall photography. So this clip, I'll show you how I do it myself. I don't really like using nodes. It's just not really my thing, I suppose. So what I do is I use the first node. I don't really go crazy with nodes, as I said. We'll just adjust this a little bit. Again, this is just 265 10-bit, so it's got some range on it. So I mean, it's not raw, but it's not 8-bit, so it's not the worst. Okay, good enough for me. Like I said, it's not gonna be perfect. So let's play through real quick. Yeah, I talk with my hands a lot. I'm basically Italian. So let's go back in here, drag and drop the Dehancer on there, and then we'll just we'll pick something crazy. Yeah, like that. Like this Chrome UT21 Daylight, expired in 1992. Now I'll be honest, I'm not sure if EXP means expired or something else. I'm pretty sure it's expired. So yeah, there you go. And then here's how it looks. Makes me look kind of goofy, to be honest. Not that I'm not already goofy looking. So we'll just show you the before and after for a quick comparison. And then we have a NRAW footage. Same thing I'm shooting on right now, but this is how you would do it with NRAW or just RAW in general. So we gotta go back to the color tab here, and real quick, I didn't have any NRAW on my library of video, so I just was cleaning up the workbench and had to move my saw back onto the table. So I figured, hey, good B-roll to test some editing. So we go to the color wheel here, and since this is raw and it's not showing up as it, you have to go to your camera raw settings, and you have to go to decode using Nikon default. There. Now we got our raw footage with the typical flat profile everyone associates with it. And then what you need to do is add a second node, a corrector, squeeze that in there, and then add a LUT on it. Let's go down to Nikon. This is the Z9 N-Log Rec 709 LUT, and now it's pretty well corrected on there. And then we'll go to the color wheels on here. I know someone in the comments is gonna berate me for doing the editing the way I do it, but it's just the quickest way for me so far, and I just really don't like nodes. Maybe it makes me lazy, I don't know, but I just don't like nodes. I'd rather just hit a few dials and switches and then move on to the next topic to deal with. Maybe I'm just so used to like editing in Lightroom for the last 10 years. I don't know. We'll just increase those shadows. And if we need to, let's reduce some of them colors. Adjust that white balance a little bit. Drop down the highlights. I don't know, good enough for me, I'll be honest. I really don't like editing raw footage. So then once we're done adjusting that, and you put your LUT on there, and then you do your corrections afterwards. If you want to do a corrections node, the last thing you want to do is drag and drop the Dehancer node on there, just like before. And then you add whatever you want on there. Let's do, kind of feel some black and white. That'd be cool. I've always liked Ilford. Let's try this one. Yeah, it's got an old school kind of, this old house kind of look to it. And per usual, it is going to drag on playback. But if you turn off the Dehancer, it flies through pretty good at 24 frames per second, even being raw and graded with a LUT on there. So yeah, that one is actually a pretty powerful little laptop. Then we'll just show the original RAW, a little bit of space, and then we'll have the LUT from Nikon on there, and then we'll just show the Dehancer on top of it. Now again, I know it's a black and white put on a color thing, but I'll be honest with you, if you're going to put Dehancer OFX on top of your video footage, you might as well just shoot in basic 10-bit and not worry about NRAW or your own version of RAW or like ProRes RAW, whatever. It kind of just defeats the purpose of shooting RAW, in my opinion. I guess it's no different than being on Fuji and shooting in JPEG and using their film simulations in the camera. No one's going to shoot RAW and then put the simulation on it. And at the end of the video, as mentioned earlier, we're going to have a whole bunch of different examples of where you can use these emulations on top of different types of genres and cameras, and maybe even camera EVFs, just to get an idea, and maybe it'll jump the juices in your brain to tell you different ideas you could use it for yourself. Now, if you want to save a little bit on a purchase from Dehancer on the OFX or even the Lightroom and Photoshop plugin, I have a code MWPERSPECTIVE. It's down in the description. If you would like to use that, gets you 10% off, and I'd really appreciate that purchase because it gives a little bit of a kickback to me as being a Dehancer affiliate. And with plugins like this, I think it's super cool, and you don't have to have a Fuji to have any kind of like neat little film simulations in your work if you really want it. And in the long run, it might be cheaper than buying a Fuji too. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Comment down below how you feel about film emulations and video. Until next time, though, I'll see you out there. Good luck.
heard you want to leave this place where we grew up, this old town, just put it all behind. Remember you and I would always find somewhere to hide when we were kids, so we could see and hear the water run. The river's gonna cry when you're gone. Where will you go? Won't you miss the ones you know? I'll be here, hanging on, waiting for your call. Seems like time as a wave passing by, leave a mark in our minds to turn to memories. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're. The river's gonna cry when you're. The river's gonna cry when you're gone. Hoping you would stay, but I've always known that you would go and find your own way. I still see when we climbed up in those trees, 12 years old, to feel the wind and watch the river run. And the sun would always shine when we sat there, you and I. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're. The river's gonna cry when you're. The river's gonna cry when you're gone. It's gonna cry, it's gonna cry. You want to leave this place where we grew up, this old town, just leave it all behind. The river's gonna cry when you're gone.